It is Tuesday night, which means it is the Anvil Live. Man, do we have some things to talk about today? Is there dissension in our locker room? Are we over our coach? Has Pat McAfee had it up to here? I don't know, but it's plenty to speak about. So, Sammy, go ahead and start us up, please.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And before we begin, let's start with a word from our sponsor. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance to the single elimination in-season tournament, culminating in the NBA Cup championship in Vegas. I won't say anything, but last year it was the Pacers and the Lakers, and the Pacers lost. Damn it. Anywho. So, if it's your first time here, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's code 6sports for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Let's officially start this thing. And that is the sound of the anvil, and your show is officially started. Myself, Clyde, my boy Chris, and of course, the DEI hire. What's up,
You're
buddy?
getting
What's
really
up?
brutal.
DEI Patty.
DEI
Patty.
I like that. I like that. Hey, man, here's the thing, man. On Thursday, I think I'm going to go anytime coaching change. That's what I'm for the sick pick. Anytime coaching change.
Hey,
No, man,
you might be onto something with that one.
we got a great show tonight, man. And I hate to do this because I feel like a talking head. I feel like somebody who can't wait to blab and spread more, controversy. But like our team here recently, I'm not even trying to even be funny. We almost like the laughing stock of the league. Like we're like the butt of a lot of jokes, and it almost seems as if no one inside the organization actually knows what the hell is going on. And I think that came to a head on Sunday because we had some of our no kidding captains and some of our revered players that actually had a lot to say. And tonight we're going to go back to the vault, things we used to do here on the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. We're going to bring that back a little bit. So we'll begin with Kenny Moe. Cue him up, Sammy.
I think everybody is working as hard as possible, and obviously it's showing. I'm not the type to sugarcoat it, honestly. If I don't think the urgency is there. I don't think the details are there, so I don't think the effort is there, and I don't see everything correlating from meetings to practice to the games, and it shows.
As one of the leaders of the team, what do you do to kind of get things sparked for everybody?
You got to define yourself. You got to define the identity of the team. We got to look ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves how bad we want it.
So there was a lot to be said about that. Now, Kenny Moe will come out later, and I don't verbatim know his quote, but basically it was like, look, heat of the moment, you just lost the game. A lot of passion was there, and sometimes you can get a little passionate in what you say. loves his team. He wants to keep fighting with them. But there was some controversy about, like, well, who is he talking about, right? And, I mean, believe it or not, people still think this is like a Anthony Richardson thing. I'm like, this guy hasn't played in 2 weeks. So, I mean, is he the one that's not preparing to not play on Sunday to then say, hey, nobody's putting the effort in? Like, that makes completely no sense. And I got to start I got to digging. And like I said, I've been to the last 3 games. And I started thinking in my mind, and I started like trying to like find clips. And I was like, this is a Clyde theory. I think he's talking about Womack and y'all boy Jalen. These dudes been getting beat like a drum beat. And if you look at how sometimes Jumpman and Kenny look at these guys after a touchdown is given up, after a big play is given up, it's almost like this look of exasperation. Like, bro, what the like? We know what to do. Why do y'all constantly keep being in the wrong spot? Like, how are you so out of place? You remember how Jalen got beat on that deep ball in like the first or second quarter? When Kenny catches up to him, he's like, and then Jalen kind of like, not that he like shuns him or like kind of like, you know, waves him off, but he just walks back to the huddle like, oh, yeah, this is the norm. I get beat all the time. I feel like that's where he's coming from. You know what I mean? Me personally. And of course, there's probably some throws at the offense because what the fuck are they doing? But that's just my thoughts, boy. So I'm gonna open the floor to Kenny Moe and his effort comments. Where you guys want to begin?
I have a different way.
Sure, you
Different
always do.
thought. I know.
Of course.
And for some reason, when I was listening to that, my thought went to AR.
Oh shit! Here you go. You're that guy.
I am that guy only because benching him makes no fucking sense. Zero.
It's 2 weeks
Zero.
ago.
I know it was.
But he's talking about the effort's not there. It's not translating from practice to the games. Nothing can translate from practice to the game when you don't step foot on the field in the game. Can't be him.
It probably isn't. But when I was listening to it, I'm telling you, that's the way my thought process goes, because to bench him just for the rest of the season, just for being tired and needing a break, is ludicrous. The man was showing improvement. The organization, the top, Ballard, Steichen, everybody, reps. He's only going to get better with reps. And then you sit his ass. It makes no sense. But the story comes out that people were late to meetings. People worked hard in practice. People, you know what I'm saying? And I got to thinking, could he be talking about Anthony? Because if he is, that's the only reason I could see they would actually bench him.
Okay, so and I immediately have a point to your point, Pat. Because the thing is,
point off my point, damn it.
Whoa, big pause. Omaha. What the hell?
I had to get it out of the way, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's queued up next.
Yeah. So if we're talking about from this game, because we know it's a culmination of what's happening during this game. I don't think that you're going to say it's about AR because we haven't seen AR in weeks. But this is immediately following this loss that you had in a game where Josh Allen is supposed to be this fantastic, semi-elite quarterback, and you hold him to no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The only runs that he gets are going to be, or the only touchdowns that they get are going to be 2 rushing touchdowns and a pick 6. Now, if I'm looking at the frustration following this game, and I'm looking at exactly what they're talking in reference to, I'm thinking when you're talking about that, Kenny Moore's either talking about what's going on the defensive side, because Gus Bradley came out today and said he was 100% okay with the comments. So I have a feeling that that's what that was looking at. But then also, I do feel like if we're looking at what it is, this might also be a dig at Joe Flacco. And the only reason why we're saying that is because in 2 weeks, we've seen him turn the ball over at the same clip that we saw AR turn the ball over for every game that he played this season. So we've heard that he gives us the best chance to win. We've heard about veteran leadership. But then we also know that right now, if you ever look at Joe Flacco on the sideline, he just looks like he's just waiting for the next drive. that veteran leadership that you're looking for, that veteran leadership that you're talking about, that veteran leadership isn't showing up by any stretch of the imagination when you see him
None.
on the sideline.
Zero. I agree with and I know my thought process was a stretch.
No, not.
But I'm
not
still hung up on why did they bench this young man? And without giving us anything, my imagination's running wild. You know, and when a player comes out and says that, that's why I go to that, because I still can't make sense of it.
Well,
But
there's
if it was him that he was talking about, that would actually kind of make some sense. And, you know, and my little pea head, it wraps around.
yeah, but you also have to remember
You do have a pea head.
but you also have to remember
God,
that
I got to quit giving you ammunition.
With the white
Note
guy in
to
the middle.
self.
Weird.
it's not a Oreo at all, but it's just like, but the thing, like, but if you look at how
I told
like,
y'all I had some flavor.
Boy, let this man talk.
I'm
DI. Yeah. In the back. In the back.
but let's get to the
just
back
lost
of
my
the
middle spot.
Sammy over there playing 3-card shuffle with the faces.
Yo, Sammy's bugging. We love you though, Sammy. But the thing is, there was also reference made to how things have been over the last few years, and I think somebody also mentioned it in the comments as they're coming in. You see that there's been this trend with guys just coming in, and then everything just kind of being, you know, what it is. And, you know, it's just like, I think there's just right now, there's an overall frustration with how you see things are. Because the thing is, mind you, we're not just being told things from the head coach and from our GM. The players are also being told things as well. And if for some reason what you're doing right now, if what you're doing right now is going against what you're telling those guys in the locker room, then that means that all those guys who are under contract, who are looking to potentially go ahead and be in a position to compete for a Super Bowl, this means that now what you're saying, what you've said is now contradictory, and now they're basically just being fed lies. So I can see where the frustration is, because these guys are trying to compete for the ultimate prize in this league.
Right.
And you see that consistently things are not there. And mind you, the defense more recently has been carrying this team more so than the offense has. This is the second week. This is the second week in a row that the offense has not been able to deliver when the defense has come in and actually done a damn good job making sure that they're keeping people. Like, I never would have thought in my heart of hearts that if you told me that Josh Allen would have a stat line under 300 yards and then also 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, that would have been Josh Allen's stat line versus this defense.
Right.
But that's what it was. And the offense didn't capitalize on any of it.
Can I elaborate on what you're saying real quick? And and this is a tweet from Zach Hicks. 11 Colts defense from week 8 to 10 against the Texans, Vikings, and Bills. 11th best in EPA play, 6th best in drop back EPA, 53% pressure rate, 30% blitz rate, 6 turnovers forced.
Yeah.
Defense is holding it down.
Yeah, Pat even heard me say on Sunday, like, I actually got to give the defense credit, like, because in all honesty, even though they still have certain tendencies that I can't stand, and they're going to eventually give up a play that's going to like break your back. Pause. No Diddy. Anywho, but they will definitely keep consistent with those numbers, because have they been playing, you know, in the early stages of these last 3 games has been admirable, honestly. And maybe I've been too harsh on them because the tendencies are what bothered me. The tendencies actually bother me. Like, it's 3rd and 4, and you got a guy sitting at 6 yards coming up to make the tackle. Like, no, I need you to press man. I need you to throw a guy off his route. I want you to be more aggressive in that situation. So you don't just give them first downs. I mean, we gave up, a 2nd and 16? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of, you know, putting them in, you know, such a long yardage situation just to give it right back? So they still have those tendencies, but they have played good enough football to put this team into a winning category. You know what I mean? Like, and honestly, somebody said it. We have never at least since I've been watching, had such a dominant defense where it was like, look, we don't give up yards, we don't give up points. Like, nah. I mean, we had that stretch run during the playoffs of the year that we won the Super Bowl with the defense. They were like dead last entering the playoffs, and then they played lights out.
Yeah, well,
They
that was
actually
Bob
played better than
Sanders
the
being
offense.
gone and Bob Sanders coming
Yeah,
back in.
big
That's what
facts.
was different. So
Giant facts. And so I need to maybe recant some of my statements after watching this game more critically this week. Like, look, you know what? I am gonna say, like you said, this defense has put this team in positions to win all 3 of these games. The offense, though, has been absolutely fucking missing. And I think that that's perhaps Kenny Moe also kind of taking a look in the mirror, knowing his guy's the best. That's why I said I think some of the DB room, but definitely Flacco. Definitely there were drops, not as many this game as the previous game, but there's drops. The O-line plays kind of been wonky. Like, so I feel like, yeah, man. But you know what? The irony is this, and it didn't even dawn on me until like probably when I was coming back home. I asked last week for somebody to step up and say something. Maybe I wanted to be more aggressive, and we were never going to hear that. Maybe it was going to be like a players only thing and somebody blacks out. But no, he came out into a public face. And so now a lot of people are like, ooh, is he going to be punished for this? Now we know he's not going to
no,
get
he's
benched.
not. No.
But like you've always said, he wants these, Eagle Scouts that keep it tight to the vest.
Yeah, but I think the other thing that is kind of telling in regards to this is the fact that it's Kenny Moore coming out, and we know that Kenny Moore, if there's anybody on that defense that probably is one of the most respected, is probably Kenny Moore.
Yeah.
So hearing comments from him lets you know that whatever we're speculating on, it might actually be worse than that. But the thing is, that just goes to show that we're not being told things, at least from a front office perspective.
Right.
The coaches are being extremely vague because I'm pretty sure that's what they have to be at this point. And then for Kenny to come out and say something, it's just like there's a lot more going on here than we're being made aware of. But because of the fact that we're not a team, like, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see, like, they asked Micah Parsons the other day about, Mike McCarthy. And because of how that team goes, he's just like, I don't know about Mike McCarthy, but all I care about is Zach Martin and this, that, and the other. And you know what the problem is clearly.
Facts.
But the problem is that everything with our organization is just very, very tight-lipped, and we're not going to hear anybody actually come out and point fingers or say names, rightfully so, because, I mean, they're all adults. They're grown men. They're not going to sit there and start playing the blame game. But also, I think we're going to start seeing some changes here and there. Like, if we lose this game coming up this week, best believe it's not going, like, we're going to, somebody's going to get fired.
You think so?
I think you have no choice.
I mean, but you were just talking about, boys pointing boys out and calling them out. I mean, like, we're not in Debo Samuel range where we're just gonna choke the long snapper or what? Like, I feel like you know what I mean? Perhaps maybe you shouldn't, go choke a grown man on TV in front of, a live audience. But I mean, look, man, we just missed 3 field goals in a row. Like, what's going on? I don't know, right? Like, I that's none of my business. But that era of football where accountability. And honestly, I'll say sports, because we could talk about like what we learned from The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, how he was apparently a terrible teammate. But look, you get down or you lay down, right? Like,
exactly.
You want to win or you want to go somewhere else. And I mean, these are grown men making tons of money, so I'm not here to count pockets or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is, as a paying fan who's just watching, and you can kind of see like, hey, man, like, I'm not saying I could do any better because I'm just an average Joe in the crowd, but like, are you even taking any like real accountability or responsibility for how you were just lost? Like, did you not see the guy run by you if we're talking about defense? Or did you not understand it was 4th and 2, Joe Flacco? You can't take a sack. Like, I mean, you've already thrown 3 picks. At the worst, give your guy opportunity. Like, what are you doing? It's 4th and 2. You know what I mean? Like, he's talking about, well, I'm waiting around trying to like, get a little bit more time. Okay, Joe. Great. Sounds awesome. But it's 4th and 2, bro, not 3rd and 2. We don't have an opportunity to kick a field goal after you're sacked. At least give somebody an opportunity. Like, shit like that doesn't even, like, it dawns on me like after the fact, because like I'm just sitting there like replaying the game in my head. I'm like, there's so many plays that don't even make sense.
Yeah.
And we could talk about play calling, we could talk about the actual performance on the field, but the bottom line is, when was somebody inside the organization, primarily a player, I'm sorry, had enough? When were they going to say, I've had enough? And I'm glad that, Kenny Moe apparently had enough. Jumpman, he's had enough, because he went on a little tangent himself too.
We never hear about him. And by the way, also once again, shout out to him because he made a video for my son for training camp. And the
Oh,
thing
that's
is,
awesome.
that's like that right there. When I saw that it was Julian Blackmon that was making that comment, this is a guy who literally goes out there and he balls. Now he's had some injury issues,
Facts.
and I get it. But also at the same time, when you have guys like Kenny Moore, when you have guys like Julian Blackmon, like I'm not even going to talk about the Zaire stuff, because I know Zaire's caught his fair share of heat for,
Yeah.
people saying that he put more effort into his podcast than he does on the field. And I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, and I'm,
Shit.
and I'm not going to go as far as that. But the thing is, Kenny Moore and Julian Blackmon are probably two of the most consummate professionals you have. Like, if they ever got pulled over by the police, it would be because the police recognized them and they wanted autographs for their family. Like, that's the only way that you end up doing that. So to see that these two are coming out, there's something that's an issue there. And I think the problem is that they're talking about what it is, but it's really just highlighting a bigger issue that we've been dealing with for years now.
And perhaps maybe that bigger issue just happens to be the HC. Sammy, let's cue up old Shane Steichen, please.
And and again, this is just to, I guess, clear the air or get some understanding. When we talk to you, we talk to AR, we talk to Cam Turner, like, no one will say specifically what Anthony needs to work on. Can you just explain, like, what he did or didn't do or must do, not do to improve? Because everything that we always hear is, oh, everything, or he has to, like, can anybody be specific about this?
Yeah, I think it's just consistent with the process. That's what it is. Just you got to go through the process every single day, and that's where it's at. You know what I mean? He's a great person, phenomenal human being. Like I said, not ever losing faith or trust in him. We're going through a process right now, and that's where it's at.
Can you explain the process? Like, has he been late? Has he not prepared the right way? Like, we hear those words, and you can take it, and I'm just trying to understand, not to put any words in your mouth or spin anything. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, like I said, we're going through a process, James. That's it.
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Well, first of all, let me start off by saying that reporter asking that question was James Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want anybody to think that we stole his videos and not give him credit. But he has been in there absolutely hitting it with the hard questions. So big shout out to James Boyd on those.
I was definitely going to say Romeo the Kid is like, I don't know. I'm not going to say that these people listen to our pod. They got their own world. But like, I have been saying for weeks, like, look, nobody's asking real questions. I say it on Facebook. I'm like, man, y'all just get in there and ask the 1, 2, 3s. But he's been in this AR thing since the beginning, and he's asking it every single way you can ask it. And I mean, Shane Steichen's doing a great job of bullshitting,
deflecting.
What is the process? And then we've heard, like you said, he's heard the QB coach. We've heard Jim Bob, the OC, and they all just talk about, coming in and working through the things, getting the reps. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, and so here we are, man.
Don't they do that every day? And you're going to tell me that's what they need to do? They come into the building and they friggin' do that. And you're telling me that's what they need to do. Come on, you guys.
And can we also just go back, because I want to just go ahead and just put it out there that everything that's being said right now just sounds like a bunch of crap. And the only reason why is just because AR coming out of the draft, they were talking about how this is the same guy that was throwing passes to Josh Downs in the hotel parking lot when they got drafted. This was the same guy that they were talking early on about the fact that his work ethic was there. He was making sure that he was always in the film room, just watching film, just trying to go ahead and get better. And so there hasn't been anything that's been out there that to me, I mean, the only thing that you can say is that it's just like he made a rap song. Okay, whatever. He's not doing
Right.
anything. He literally just made a song, not even talking about the shit that you would expect people to make rap songs about. Like, it's just like he's not out here just talking nonsense. But the thing is, he also literally, I think the biggest thing that we've seen from AR, other than him rehabbing, was the fact that he had a kid. So the thing is, for me, what could have possibly changed in the last year, where now we're talking about the fact that it's a behavioral thing, or the fact that it's an issue as far as his attitude or conduct detrimental to a team, or he needs to be a better professional.
Because let me throw another example in there. A fan saw him at the grocery store, invited him to his birthday party, and he friggin' goes.
Okay, but see, that's not to the field though. That's what they keep
No,
saying. So he's a great person. You know, he's definitely put on for the city, does the community thing, but it's the football side. So let's just stay on the football side. You know what I mean? And that's what I can't figure out either.
So then let's also just be very clear right now. AR's benching, partially due to his performance. I get it. I understand the performance aspect of it if you want him to sit and kind of learn a little bit more. But are we really just going to continue to act like this isn't about people trying not to lose jobs?
I mean, I really don't see how. But see, this is what I've always said to this, and it's not, to directly debate what you're saying, but I'm saying, how do you lose a job with a developmental quarterback versus the situation you have now, a 1-3 Joe Flacco? You made a move that was very aggressive, took people, aback. And now it's like, you're going to stick with it. It's like, man, you should fold his hand. Like, you beat here. And you just like, you know what? I'm going to try to bluff my way out of it because he's a veteran. He gives a veteran leadership. Like, I feel like the jobs are safer with AR developing despite outcomes of games, stats, whatever. That's what I thought. So I felt like this was a punishment for this, and then it's turned to something more. That's just
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. And I said it to you fellas here before. I see nothing but improvement in his game on the field. So none of it makes sense. Absolutely none of it.
I won't say. I feel like you have to loosely say improvement. Because you look at it, if you're looking at like numbers and statistics, and he's like an all-time like low type, statistical player at this point in his career, I don't think that would hold up. But what I do think I see as far as improvement is like poise, like working through things, being able to stick it out, the stuff you don't get credit for. Like everybody's gonna talk about, oh, your completion percentage is this or it's that. But nobody's going to talk about, well, look how he's like scanning the field, and look how he's not being so quick to just, run out the pocket and not see things develop, that type of thing. So yes, there's improvement in the poise. There's improvement in, hey, I'm a second year, but still first year quarterback based on the games. But at the same time, I'm not just out here lost. Like Caleb Williams looks lost. Bryce Young early on looked lost. People try to put that on AR, and I'm like, he's not lost. Like, yeah, some bad plays, some bad passes, but he's not. Caleb Williams is like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Bryce Young at first was like, the world is moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and like, I don't even think that I'm even at the football game. Like, it was hard to watch. Like, AR was just, like I said, your air mailing passes or shit. This guy was wide open and you short hopped it to him, or whatever. But he never looked lost to me. That's just my point.
Well, I think that's the issue that I'm having, because then benching AR is a panic move. And I mean, if it's a panic move, then just say that. Say that you want to go ahead and that you want to give him more time to just really develop. But the thing is, also admit faults in this. Because the thing is, it's not just the faults of the coach who's supposed to be developing him. It's the faults of the organization for making sure that you want to go ahead. You knew how raw he was coming out of college.
Knew it.
You literally went, and for the most important position on the field, you drafted a guy based on athleticism and how everything else was off the charts based on the fact that he was able to run that 4-4 the way that you thought, the way that he was able to throw from end zone to end zone looking damn near effortless, and the way that he was able to go ahead and do backflips during pro days. You drafted him knowing all this and knowing that he didn't have that experience. And mind you, you had 2 opportunities to make sure that if you didn't feel like he was going to develop properly, that you were going to do it. You made sure before his rookie year, before he started, when you had Gardner Minshew, you didn't put Gardner Minshew out there. You put AR out there. And that was your first mistake. If for some reason it led to this, your first mistake was not making sure that beforehand that he looked like he was 100% ready, instead of making it look like it was something else other than that. Because what you were doing is, at that point, it now looks like the optics of it are that you wanted to get the excitement going. You wanted to make sure that everything looked good when it came down to how things looked from a business perspective. Because mind you, everybody's going to be excited about AR, but everybody's going to be more excited about AR when they see him on the field doing all those exciting things that we saw him do during the combine, during his pro day. And what does excitement do when you're in the stadium? When he scores that first touchdown, people are they're going to show the videos. They're going to be running for AR merchandise. They're going to be running for the bobbleheads, running for the jerseys, doing this, that, and the other. And then he gets hurt. And then you know that he has to rehab because of the grade of the AC joint sprain that he had, and you knew that it was going to take time. But then what you didn't do was you didn't evaluate. You had him out there in training camp basically going and throwing those things, looking dazzling again, so that this way you can go ahead and get those things excited. This way you can go ahead and make sure that you're selling more tickets, making sure season ticket members are satisfied. And then you go ahead and you put him out there again. So now you've proven that not only can you go and develop him properly, but you're also basically saying, nah, it's not good. When people have already went and paid for tickets, people have already bought this stuff, and now season ticket prices are going up.
I'm telling you, man. I feel like you're killing it right now, but I really don't. I feel like this is more about the tap out. That was national media attention. That was every talking head. That was every NFL exec. That was ex-coaches, players, everybody putting the pressure on this organization. Like, you can't trot this guy out here. He just embarrassed the entire NFL. That's more about that than all the play.
If the tap out, because to me, I feel like they would have wanted to bench AR based on performance. The tap out was just what they needed to justify it. Because now, with them being as vague as they are, don't nobody have to answer to nothing. Now everybody can say process. But before, if AR never tapped out, do you think that we would have seen him benched?
No, but that goes to my point though. If Anthony is playing like Jaden Daniels and he does the same thing, he taps out. It's talked about. Hey, we discussed it. He knows he's got to be a consummate pro. There's not a move to be made. But because he was struggling, and I see what you did there. He's like, okay, this gave them the justification to do it. But my whole thing to that is, then why not pull him for that end of that Texans game? Why put him back in there? If it was that big of a problem, I mean, it happened. Everybody's seen what happened. Like, what the fuck just happened? Why? Like, Joe came out there, he ran the draw play, trotted back off the field, kicked the field goal. Why not pull Anthony at that point? What's the point of letting him finish the game? It doesn't make sense, because now to me it feels like it's almost like, oh, is that how we took that? Oh, wow. Pat McAfee, the most successful podcast outside of Joe Rogan, that's what he's talking about. That's what Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and everybody else, that's what they're talking about. You can't play this guy. You lost the locker room. Players ain't going to do this. They had to. It's big, bro. Like, I mean, we've seen the movie Concussion. We've seen other variations of, what goes on inside the NFL. It's always about protect the shield. This just embarrassed the shield, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Okay, but he served his time, put his ass back on the field.
But see, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. If you do that, now again, you have more of what Chris is talking about. There's more contradictions. There's more situational what the F's, because it's like, oh, so that was a punishment, which you guys said it wasn't about the tap out, but it was now, right? Like, that's why I said
they could always flip the script and say, well, yeah, he improved in his process.
Well, look,
he got this right. He was doing this. We felt it was time for him to be back out there.
But that's
in 2 weeks.
But that's all the more reason why. That's all the more reason why.
Stupider shit has been done in this league.
2 weeks.
But honestly, that's all the more reason why. Because if we're being honest, if we're being 100% honest here, last time I checked, even towards the end of that game, or I think that the tap out happened in what quarter? Third quarter around?
Third quarter.
It happened in third quarter. Didn't AR go down and end up scoring on that one as well after that?
After that, yeah.
But mind you, we're acting like the tap out happened and then that's what lost us the game. This was a game that we were in the entire game, and that his play even after that kept us in. So right now, what about because the thing is, you're benching him based on that. It if I would be ecstatic if somebody would just come out and say, yes, he's being punished for tapping out in the game. Because then I would have a feeling that they're not trying to blow smoke up everybody's butt. But the problem is that now you're continuing to go ahead and put it out there talking about, oh, Joe gives us the best chance to win. AR gave us the best chance to win against Houston. And yet here we are once again talking about the fact that Flacco is going to give us the best chance to win. And Joe Flacco has now turned the ball over 6 times in 2 games.
Epically. Royal. This is a royal fail, because as you said, in all honesty, no even BS, he should have had 5 picks on Sunday and the fumble, because he threw 2 of them right into defenders' hands and they just didn't catch it. So I was so I had said Joe either has to get injured or he has to have a epic fail to finally be like, okay, well, we've seen this. And oh wait, by the way, last year the whole comeback player of the year, all this other nonsense the talking heads were talking about. Look, Joe was on a couch somewhere and he came in and the NFL wasn't ready for him, if you will. Like, oh man, wow, he's got this team going. Okay, yeah, now we can prepare for Joe Flacco. Now we can do things. We know what the Colts offense is with one player and what it is without that one player. We don't have to play them the same way. So I say that to say 1-3. Now he's starting to turn the ball over at the same clip that AR was apparently turning the ball over. And the coach still stands 10 toes down. It's like, yeah, he's still our guy. And the reason is veteran leadership. That's when I know it's time for me to make a decision as a fan. Either I believe in this coach or I don't.
Yes.
I'm not calling for Steichen's job, but something has happened from him being the exciting mastermind of a play caller last season to now just like every week he's coming in looking defeated. He doesn't know what to say. He's not prepared for questions. He just repeats the same stuff. I got to go look at the tape. No, you know what you saw. Looking at the tape only confirms what you saw. What are you saying? I got to go look at the tape.
He's been through the emotional process that we've seen the last 3 Colts coaches go through.
He's battered, bro. He's battered. He's probably
Jeff Saturday was the interim coach for 8 games, and he went through, and he had the exact same expression by the end of 2022 season.
He's like, Steichen is battered right now, and we're not, trying to pile on and talk negatively about coach, but it's like I'd rather you just be. Some of these coaches, like, they have personality, right? You can say the Mike McDaniels, who else? The Dan Campbells. They got a personality. So no matter what's being asked, how difficult or how glorious it can be, like there's just a certain way. Coach is all football all the time. I get that, and I feel like he doesn't want to give out, the secrets, if you will. But like, there's nothing secretive here. You know what I mean? And who I really blame for this, outside of what's going on in the organization, is all the people that everybody loves to listen to Monday through Friday. Watching Pat McAfee dial it back the last 2 weeks has been absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm like, you were the main one, as loud as possible.
Yeah, as super loud. And even on his podcast, he is quiet now. He's talking super monotone, because before it was just like, hey, they're just like, oh yeah, this, and then now he's just like, well, we know what it is. I want to apologize to AR because this, that. It's like, bruh.
Because he blew this shit out of proportion. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it loud. This is for everybody that's ever even played football at that level or just played high school or whatever. I get it, right? when you're playing sports, I'm out there playing for the man next to me and the one to this side and everywhere else. We are brothers, we are family, we are a team. And if I have a certain leadership role, hold me accountable. But you know who's supposed to hold me accountable? Y'all. And if y'all don't protect me from the rest of the world, and then everybody now is piling on, you're just as bad as everybody else. If I'm the quarterback, I come out and be like, look, Pat's my center, and yeah, he blew that last play because he threw that shit 25 feet in the air, and boom, game over. Or Chris is my star receiver, and like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with this man. He's got the dropsies. I would be Willie beaming, and everybody's gonna be kicking my ass, right? They'd be like, look at Willie beaming out here, throwing everybody under the bus, right?
Now listen here. I can take being called a DEI hire. I can take being called a minority. But why did Chris get to be the receiver and not me? That's some bull.
Sir. Sir, you didn't have to bring that up. The reason was obvious, sir.
Oh, it's very obvious, but I had to say something.
First off, I don't know. Pat is showing his age. He's in the stadium. He can't sit still. He's turning his body. He's got his leg is dying. His back is broken. So you can't be the receiver because you can't run a 5-yard out. That's the next tailgate I'm at. Get the football, run a 5-yard out.
I can't.
I ain't gonna promise I can catch it, but I'm gonna run it.
Next time I will appoint you the receiver, and
Hey,
Chris
listen,
will be the left tackle.
I'm bigger than my college track weight, but I'm pretty sure I can run at least a 4.7, baby. I can run a 4.7 easily right now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, don't.
You about to Cat Williams? You doing a Cat Williams?
Listen. Make sure you play best in the world as I'm running, okay?
Chris,
and you're not gonna play it for long.
Hold on, Chris.
I gotta see it.
Exactly.
I gotta see it. Wait a minute, you got the Cat Williams? Okay.
Listen.
Next
I will tell
time
you
we
like
link
this.
up, Chris is on Cat Williams time. We gonna
race from the church doors to my car every Sunday.
And you
literally.
You
absolutely.
Okay.
He don't
in
beat
church
me.
shoes?
He don't beat me.
Oh, you in church?
Oh no. No, we're with more
Non-denom?
progressive shirts. So the only time I don't race them is when I got my green ones on. That's the only time I don't race them. But
if you in church shoes, I might recant my statement. You might be Cat Williams.
Oh no, but hey, don't get it twisted. Under the right circumstance, if I got to skate on church shoes, I'm gonna do it. Listen. We gonna bam like real quick. You ain't gonna see me. You ain't got to worry about me. It's just like they talk about the Holy Ghost. It's just like I'm gonna have.
All right, Chris said a 7. Okay, so next time we all together, whether that's training camp or if it's the combine or whatever, we're gonna clock him on the 40-yard dash. He said 4.7. but as I said before,
I gotta see it.
Hey, listen, we go ahead. We can put money on it, all right? We go ahead. I ain't even worried about that.
I didn't mean to get us off track. Come on,
no, we're on track. I just want to let you know that we're on track.
All right, we about to get out of here anyway because we made some promises and we're gonna keep them. So yes, look at that. You took it right from me. Let's go ahead and bring up the X's. Let's find out. Well, you call it Twitter. Where can everybody be found? Pat, you still haven't changed your name, so tell us.
Big P Colts.
Fucking terrible. All right, where you at?
What do you want it to be?
Just
tell me, and I'll change it. I guess I don't care.
I don't know, man. I gotta think about it.
Give me something. Chat, give me something. But make this man over here happy because
that Big P Colts is crazy work. What you got? What you got, Chris?
Yeah, at CJ Colts fan. Not nearly as explicit as Pat's, but you know what? It's just like we're gonna do what we need to do. So make sure that you highlight me there. Yes.
Big facts. And I'm at Colts Clyde. And we are as a show at Sick Pod Colts. So please follow us on the X or Twitter, as Chris said. If his mama named him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay. Yeah, so Thursday we will come and we'll talk about the Jets, which was supposed to be a Thursday night game, which was going to be exciting. It's going to have the boys over, have a drink. But now we've been flexed out because we suck. So see you Sunday at 1.
Yeah, as Clyde would say, this team sucks.
Yes,
yes.
But you know what? I got a lot to love for my team. Matter of fact, before I get out of here, the last thing I have to say, shout out to my Anvil/Forge family. What an amazing comeback that was for me. Was able to do some local news spots, just being around the brotherhood and sisterhood of the Forge, seeing everybody Amber, amazing storytelling in what she does with her video. She made an incredible video that recaps our tailgate from yesterday, and just seeing everybody, man, it was so amazing. We fought the rain and all that other stuff. We had a blast. So if you are going to tailgate in Indy, find us in Touch Downtown. Look for the Forge. Find the Anvil. You will not regret it. That's what I will say.
We might be 1-19 as a team, but we are undefeated as a tailgate, baby.
We are going to have a damn time. We are the Forge, and you are family. I think that's our motto. I like it. That sounds pretty solid. All right, man. Well, let's get out of here before Sammy has a conniption, and we'll see you Thursday night. To the next one. We out.
Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.